Welcome to my channel, Bookish English. What if your English could become better without studying difficult grammar for hours? What if the secret was simply this: listen, practice, and learn? Today, I will show you a simple method that can change the way you learn English. Stay with me until the end, because every chapter will give you one powerful step. And when you put all 7 steps together, English will start feeling easier, more natural, and more possible for you. Chapter 1. Listen before you try to speak. If you want to speak English better, there is one thing you must understand first. Speaking does not begin with speaking. Speaking begins with listening. This sounds very simple, but it can change the way you learn English. Think about how a small child learns a language. A child does not open a grammar book. A child does not study long vocabulary lists. A child listens. Every day, the child hears the same words, the same questions, and the same simple sentences. At first, those sounds have no clear meaning, but after hearing them again and again, something begins to happen. The brain starts connecting sounds with meaning. Slowly, the child understands more. Then one day, the child starts using those sounds. English can work in the same way for you. Before you ask yourself, "Why can't I speak English fluently?" ask yourself another question. How much English do I really listen to every day? Your ears need English before your mouth can produce English naturally. This is why listening is not a small part of learning. It is the foundation. Maybe you already know this feeling. You open an English video, you hear the first sentence, but the speaker sounds very fast. You understand one word, then you miss 5 words. You start feeling nervous. You may think, "My English is too weak. I will never understand native speakers." But that is not true. Your ears are simply not trained enough yet. Imagine someone who has never exercised before. If that person tries to run a long distance on the first day, they will become tired very quickly. Does that mean they can never become a good runner? No. It only means their body needs training. Your English listening works in the same way. When English sounds too fast, do not say, "English is impossible." Say, "My ears need more practice." That small change in thinking is powerful. It removes fear and gives you something you can actually work on. Listening also teaches you more than vocabulary. When you listen carefully, you learn how English really sounds. You hear where people pause. You hear which words are strong and which words are soft. You hear how questions sound different from statements. You notice that real spoken English is often different from the English you see in textbooks. For example, you may know the sentence, "What are you doing?" When you read it, every word looks clear. But when someone says it naturally, the sounds connect together. At first, you may not recognize it. After hearing it many times, however, your brain starts recognizing the whole sentence as one familiar pattern. Then something amazing happens. You stop translating every word. You hear the sentence, and the meaning comes directly to your mind. This is one of the first signs that your English is becoming more natural. But there is one important rule. Do not choose listening material that is too difficult. Many beginners make this mistake. They choose a fast movie, a difficult podcast, or a long news program because they think difficult English will make them improve faster. Usually, the opposite happens. They understand almost nothing. They feel tired. They lose confidence. Then they stop practicing. Easy English is not a weakness. Easy English is a bridge. If you understand about 60 or 70% of what you hear, you have a good place to start. You should hear familiar words and also notice a few new ones. The goal is not to understand every single word. The goal is to stay connected to the meaning. When the material is easy enough, your brain can notice useful phrases naturally. Here is a simple listening routine you can start today. Choose 5 or 10 minutes of easy English. It can be a beginner podcast, a simple story, or a slow conversation. Listen the first time without stopping. Do not worry about every word. Just ask yourself, what is this about? Listen again. This time, notice words and sentences you already know. On the third listen, focus more carefully. Try to catch complete phrases. Maybe you hear, I have to go. That sounds good. Or, I don't know. These small sentences are very valuable because people use them again and again in real conversations. You do not need 100 new words from one lesson. 3 useful sentences can be enough if you truly learn them. And please do not become angry with yourself when you cannot understand everything. You are learning a language, not taking a punishment. Missing words is normal. Even strong learners sometimes miss things. The important question is not, did I understand everything? The better question is, did I understand a little more than before? That is progress. If yesterday you understood only a few words, and today you understand one full sentence, that is progress. If last month English sounded like noise and now you can recognize common expressions, that is progress. Small improvements are not small when they happen every day. There is another powerful reason to listen regularly. Listening gives your brain examples of correct English. You may study a grammar rule and still forget how to use it, but when you hear the same pattern again and again, it becomes familiar. For example, you may hear, I'm going to work, I'm going to call her, I'm going to study tonight. After some time, your brain understands the pattern without needing a long grammar explanation. You begin to feel what sounds right. This feeling is extremely valuable because fluent speakers do not build every sentence by thinking about grammar rules one by one. They use familiar patterns. So starting today, give your ears a job. Let English enter your day. Listen while walking. Listen during a quiet break. Listen for 10 minutes before sleeping. You do not need to understand everything, and you do not need to study for hours. You need regular contact with the language. English should become a sound that your brain knows well. And remember this moment, because something exciting will happen if you continue. A sentence that feels too fast today may sound completely clear 1 month from now. One day you will hear English and realize, I understood that without translating. That moment feels powerful because it shows you that your brain is changing. But listening is only the first step. If you only listen and never use what you hear, your progress can become slow. When you hear a useful sentence, you need to do something with it. You need to open your mouth, copy the sound, and make the sentence yours. That is where listening becomes real speaking practice, and that is exactly what we will learn next. Chapter 2. Repeat what you hear. In the last chapter, you learned something very important. Good speaking begins with good listening. But listening alone is not enough. You can listen to English for hours every day, understand many words, and still feel nervous when it is your turn to speak. Why does this happen? Because your ears may know English, but your mouth has not practiced English enough. This is where repetition becomes powerful. When you hear a useful sentence, do not just understand it and move on. Stop for a moment. Listen again. Then say the sentence aloud. Copy the sound. Copy the rhythm. Copy the way the speaker says it. This simple habit can change your speaking faster than you think. You are not only learning English with your brain, you are training your mouth to produce English naturally. Think about it this way. You may understand how to ride a bicycle by watching someone else, but you cannot become good at riding until you actually get on the bicycle and practice. Speaking English works in the same way. you need to use your voice. Let us take a very simple sentence. I need some help. First, listen to the sentence carefully. Do not rush. Notice how it sounds. Then repeat it slowly. I need some help. Say it again. This time, try to sound more natural. Say it 5 times if you need to. Now imagine a real situation. Maybe you are in a store. Maybe you are at work. Maybe you are talking to someone online. Say the sentence again. I need some help. Now the sentence is not only something you heard, it is becoming something you can use. This is the goal. You want useful English to move from your ears into your mouth. The more times you do this, the easier speaking becomes. At first, you may feel strange speaking to yourself. That is completely normal. But remember, you are practicing a skill. Nobody becomes comfortable with a new skill without repeating it. Many learners make one big mistake. They learn hundreds of words, but they do not practice saying complete sentences. They can recognize the word when they see it. They may even understand it when they hear it. But when they need that word in conversation, their mind becomes empty. This happens because recognition and speaking are different skills. You can recognize a song when you hear it, but that does not mean you can sing it perfectly. You can recognize a sentence in English, but that does not mean your mouth is ready to produce it quickly. This is why repetition matters. Every time you repeat a sentence, you make it easier for your brain to find that sentence again. You are building a path. At first, the path is weak. After 10 repetitions, it becomes clearer. After using the sentence many times in different situations, it can become automatic. Here is a simple method you can use every day. Step 1. Listen to one short sentence. Step 2. Pause the audio. Step 3. Repeat the sentence slowly. Step 4. Listen again and compare your voice with the speaker. Step 5. Repeat the sentence naturally. That is all. You do not need complicated equipment. You do not need a special class. You need a short audio and your own voice. If a sentence is difficult, break it into smaller parts. For example, take the sentence, "Could you say that again?" First say, "Could you?" Then say that again. Finally, put it together. "Could you say that again?" When you divide difficult sentences into small pieces, they become much easier. There is another useful technique called shadowing. Do not worry about the name. The method is simple. You listen to a speaker and try to repeat the words almost at the same time. You follow the speaker like a shadow follows a person. For beginners, you can start slowly. Listen to a short sentence first, then play it again and speak with the speaker. Do not worry if your timing is not perfect. Your goal is to train your ears and mouth together. Shadowing helps you notice the music of English. Yes, English has a kind of music. Some words are stronger. Some sounds become softer. Some words connect. When you copy these patterns, your English can sound clearer and more natural. And here is something very important. You do not need a perfect accent. Please do not waste your energy trying to sound exactly like someone from London, New York, or any other place. Your goal is not to become another person. Your goal is to speak clearly and confidently. If people can understand you easily, you are doing well. Pronunciation matters, but perfection is not the goal. Communication is the goal. Focus on clear sounds, natural rhythm, and comfortable speaking. Your accent is part of your voice. You do not have to remove it completely. You simply need to make your English easy to understand. Now let us make your practice very practical. Choose 5 useful sentences each day. Only 5. For example, "Could you say that again? I don't understand." "What do you mean?" "Let me think. That sounds good." Listen to each sentence. Repeat each one several times. Then imagine when you could use it. This is much more useful than learning 50 random words and forgetting most of them tomorrow. 5 sentences a day may not sound like much, but think about what happens in 30 days. 5 sentences every day becomes 150 sentences. Imagine having 150 useful English sentences ready in your mind. That can make a huge difference in real conversation. You can make this practice even stronger by changing one part of the sentence. Suppose you learn, I need some help. You can create, I need some water. I need more time. I need a break. I need your advice. Now one sentence has taught you several new sentences. Or take, I want to learn English. Change it to, I want to improve my speaking. I want to travel. I want to read this book. This is where repetition becomes creative practice. You are not repeating like a robot. You are learning a pattern and using it to express your own ideas. Some learners say, but repeating the same sentence is boring. Maybe sometimes it is, but repetition is how skills become strong. A football player practices the same movement again and again. A musician plays the same part of a song many times. A dancer repeats the same step. They do not say, I already did this once, so I am finished. They repeat because they want the action to become automatic. English speaking is also a skill. If you want words to come out quickly, you must practice them enough times that your brain does not need to search for them. There is one more thing I want you to remember. Do not only repeat silently inside your head. Speak aloud whenever possible. Your mouth needs physical practice. Your tongue needs to learn new movements. Your breathing needs to become comfortable with longer sentences. When you speak aloud, you can also hear yourself. This helps you notice problems that you may never notice when you only read silently. You might hear that one word is unclear. You might notice that you speak too quickly. You might discover that a sentence feels difficult. All of this information helps you improve. So today, do not try to learn everything. Choose 5 sentences. Listen to them, repeat them, copy them, change them, use them. Tomorrow, choose 5 more. Little by little, your mouth will become faster. Your pronunciation will become clearer, and speaking will feel less frightening. One day, someone will ask you a question, and instead of translating for a long time, a sentence you practiced will come out naturally. That is the reward of repetition. And now that you know how to listen and repeat, the next step is even more powerful. Learning English in complete sentences so you can build new ideas instead of memorizing isolated words. Chapter 3. Learn English in complete sentences. Now you know how important listening and repetition are. But there is another mistake that can slow down your English. Many learners spend too much time collecting single words. They learn happy, tired, important, travel, improve, and many other words. But when they need to speak, they still do not know how to use these words naturally. This happens because a word by itself is only one small piece of the language. A complete sentence shows you how that word actually works. For example, knowing the word hungry is useful, but knowing I'm hungry, are you hungry, and I'm getting hungry is much more powerful. Now you have the word, the grammar, the pronunciation, and the situation together. This is why you should start learning English in complete sentences. When you learn sentences, you are not only learning vocabulary, you are learning how English is built. Think about the sentence, I want to learn English. This one sentence contains a very useful pattern, I want to. Once you understand this pattern, you can create many new sentences. I want to drink water. I want to go home. I want to improve my speaking. I want to travel. I want to speak with confidence. Suddenly, one sentence gives you the power to create many more. This is one of the best ways to make English easier You do not need to memorize thousands of completely different sentences. You need to learn useful patterns and then use those patterns with your own ideas. English becomes much less frightening when you realize that many sentences are built from patterns you can use again and again. You can do the same thing with I need to. Say, I need to study. I need to call my friend. I need to practice English. I need to wake up early. Then try, I like to. I like to read. I like to walk. I like to watch English videos. These simple sentence patterns give you a strong foundation for real conversation. And something else happens when you practice them often. Grammar starts becoming more natural. You stop thinking about every small rule. Your brain begins to recognize what sounds right because you have heard and used the pattern many times. This is how natural language ability grows. Here is a simple way to improve your vocabulary notebook. Do not write only one new word with a translation. Write one useful sentence with that word. If the word is improve, do not write only improve. Write, I want to improve my English. If the word is confident, write, I want to speak English confidently. If the word is practice, write, I practice English every day. A sentence gives the word a home. It gives your brain more information to remember. Later, when you need that word, you are more likely to remember the whole sentence around it. You can also turn one sentence into a small English lesson. Start with, I like coffee. Now change it. I don't like coffee. Do you like coffee? She likes coffee. I really like coffee. I like coffee in the morning. Look at what happened. You started with one simple sentence, but you practiced positive sentences, negative sentences, questions, different subjects, and extra information. This kind of practice is powerful because you are learning how English moves and changes. You are not just memorizing, you are creating. And always try to learn sentences that are connected to your own life. If you work in an office, learn sentences you can use at work. If you are a student, learn sentences about studying, classes, and exams. If you want to travel, learn sentences about hotels, directions, food, and transportation. Personal sentences are easier to remember because they have meaning for you. I have a meeting today may be more useful to you than a random sentence about something you never do. English becomes stronger when it enters your real life. Here is your challenge. Every day, choose 3 useful sentence patterns. Make 5 new sentences from each one. Speak them aloud. Do not only write them. Let your mouth practice them. After a few weeks, you will have many useful patterns ready in your mind. And when you are speaking, you will not need to build every sentence from zero. You will already have strong building blocks. This is the moment when English starts becoming exciting. You realize that you do not need to know every word in the dictionary. You need useful words inside useful sentences. You need patterns that help you express your thoughts. But there is still one problem that stops many learners. They know the words, they know the sentences, yet before they speak, they first create the sentence in their own language and then translate it into English. That makes speaking slow. So the next step is to train your brain to connect English directly with meaning and slowly stop translating every sentence. Chapter 4. Stop translating every sentence. You have already learned how to listen, repeat, and build English with complete sentences. Now we come to one of the biggest problems that stops many learners from speaking smoothly: translating every sentence inside the mind. Maybe this happens to you. Someone asks you a simple question in English. First, you understand the question. Then you think of your answer in your own language. After that, you search for the English words. Then you start thinking about grammar. You ask yourself, should I use this tense? Is this word correct? Is my sentence in the right order? While you are doing all of this, the other person is waiting. You become nervous. Your mind becomes blank. Finally, you say only a few words, even though you knew what you wanted to say. This does not mean you are bad at English. It means your brain is still taking a long road. Your idea goes from meaning to your first language and then to English. The goal is to slowly make that road shorter. You want to connect meaning directly with English. This will not happen in one day, but it can happen with simple daily practice. Think about a glass of water. When you see it, you probably know immediately what it is. You do not need to think deeply. Now imagine training yourself to see that glass and think only, water. If you are drinking it, think, I am drinking water. If the glass is empty, think, the glass is empty. This may sound too easy, but that is exactly why it works. Your brain needs simple, direct connections first. Do not begin by trying to think about difficult business ideas, politics, or complicated life problems in English. Start with the world around you. Look at the door and think, the door is open. Look at your phone and think, my phone is on the table. Look outside and think, it is sunny today. If you are tired, think, I am tired. If you are hungry, think, I am hungry. If you are going somewhere, think, I am going to work, or I am going to the market. These small thoughts train your brain to use English without first asking another language for help. Many learners make thinking in English much harder than it needs to be. They believe that if they cannot think in advanced English, they are not really thinking in English. That is not true. Simple English is real English. If you want to say, I am extremely exhausted because I had a very stressful and demanding day, but those words do not come quickly. Say, I am very tired. Today was difficult. That is enough. Communication is more important than showing difficult vocabulary. A short sentence that comes naturally is more useful than a beautiful sentence that takes 1 minute to build. This is one of the secrets of fluency. Fluent speaking is not always about using big words. It is often about using simple words, quickly, clearly, and confidently. So never feel ashamed of simple English. Simple English is the bridge that will take you to stronger English. Here is a powerful 5-minute exercise you can start today. Sit somewhere quietly and describe everything around you in English. You can say, I am sitting in my room. There is a chair near me. My phone is on the table. The window is closed. I can hear a car outside. I am wearing a blue shirt. I feel a little tired. Do not stop because you cannot remember one word. If you do not know the English word for something, describe it using words you already know. Suppose you do not know the word curtain. You can say, there is some cloth near the window. It may not be perfect, but you are still communicating. This skill is extremely important because in real conversations, you will sometimes forget a word. Strong speakers do not always stop. They find another way to express the idea. That is real communication. You can also practice English thinking during normal activities. When you wake up, think, I need to get up. While brushing your teeth, think, I am brushing my teeth. Before leaving home, think, I need my phone and my keys. When you are walking, describe what you see. There are many people here. That bus is full. The road is busy. When you are cooking, think, I need some water. Now I will cut the vegetables. The food smells good. You do not need to turn your whole day into a lesson. Just choose a few moments. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and 5 minutes at night can make a big difference over time. The goal is to invite English into your daily life. Another excellent exercise is asking yourself simple questions and answering them directly in English. Ask, "What am I doing?" Then answer, "I am watching a video." Ask, "What will I do later?" Answer, "I will go to the market." Ask, "What did I eat today?" Answer, "I ate rice and vegetables." Ask, "How do I feel?" Answer, "I feel good, but I am a little tired." This teaches your brain to respond instead of translate. At first, give yourself plenty of time. Later, try to answer a little faster. You can even make it a small game. Ask 10 questions and answer each one without using your first language. If you cannot answer one, make the sentence simpler. Now here is an important moment. You do not need to completely stop translation before you can become fluent. Translation is normal, especially at the beginning. If you have spent your whole life using another language, your brain will naturally use it. Do not fight your brain or become frustrated. Instead, slowly reduce your dependence on translation. Think of it like training wheels on a bicycle. At first, they help you. Later, you need them less. Eventually, you can ride without them. The same thing happens with language. Some common English sentences will become so familiar that you will no longer translate them. Someone says, "How are you?" and you immediately understand. Someone says, "Thank you," and you do not need to translate it word by word. This proves that your brain is already capable of direct English understanding. Your job is to increase the number of sentences that feel this natural. One powerful way to do that is to learn English through situations instead of translations. Imagine you learn the phrase, "Can you help me?" Do not only memorize its meaning in your language. Imagine yourself carrying something heavy and asking someone, "Can you help me?" Imagine being lost and asking, "Can you help me?" Imagine having a problem on your computer and saying, "Can you help me?" Now the English sentence is connected to a situation, an image, and a feeling. Your brain can remember it directly. This is much stronger than connecting one English sentence only to another language. You should also give yourself permission to pause when you speak. Some learners translate because they feel they must answer instantly. But even native speakers pause. They say, "Let me think," "Well, I'm not sure," or "Give me a second." These expressions give you time and help you stay in English. Instead of becoming silent while translating, learn a few useful phrases that keep the conversation moving. Let me think. How can I say this? I mean, what I want to say is, these are small tools, but they can give you confidence when your brain needs an extra second. And here is something you should remember whenever you feel frustrated. Fluency is not the moment when you know every English word. Fluency begins when the English you already know starts coming faster. You may know only simple vocabulary, but if you can use it without fear and without long translation, you are moving toward fluency. A person who knows 2,000 words and uses them naturally may communicate better than someone who knows 10,000 words but is afraid to speak. Your goal is not to fill your brain with endless information. Your goal is to make the English you already know active. Try this challenge for the next 7 days. Every day, spend 5 minutes thinking only in simple English. Do not translate unless you really need to. Describe your surroundings. Talk about your plans. Ask yourself questions. Tell yourself what you are doing. If you make a mistake, continue. If you forget a word, use another word. If your sentence is very simple, accept it. You are training speed, not perfection. After 7 days, you may notice that some sentences appear more quickly. After 1 month, you may begin thinking short thoughts in English without trying. That is a major step forward. One day, something exciting will happen. Someone will ask you a question in English, and your answer will come before you have time to translate it. You may even surprise yourself. You will think, I answered directly in English. That moment is not luck. It is the result of all those small moments when you trained your brain to connect English directly with meaning. Keep building those connections. Keep your English simple. Keep speaking inside your mind. And do not wait for perfect words. Now you are listening to English, repeating useful sentences, learning complete patterns, and beginning to think directly in English. But there is one more step that turns all of this knowledge into real confidence. You must use your own voice every day. And you do not need a teacher, a friend, or a speaking partner beside you every time. In the next chapter, you will learn how to speak English every day, even when you are completely alone. Chapter 5. Speak English every day, even when you are alone. One of the most common reasons learners give for not speaking English is very simple. I have nobody to practice with. Maybe you do not have an English-speaking friend. Maybe nobody in your family speaks English. Maybe you live in a place where you rarely hear English in real life. But here is something powerful you need to understand. You can still improve your speaking every single day. You do not always need another person. You already have the most important thing you need, your own voice. You can speak to yourself, describe your day, ask yourself questions, tell short stories, explain your plans, and record your voice. All of these activities are real speaking practice. If you wait until the perfect speaking partner appears, you may wait for months. But if you begin speaking alone today, your English can start growing immediately. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. You cannot build speaking confidence only by reading or listening. At some point, you must open your mouth and use the language. Start with something very easy. Give yourself a 1-minute speaking challenge. Choose a simple topic and speak for 1 minute without stopping. You can talk about your morning. Say, I woke up at 7, I washed my face, I had breakfast, then I started my work. You can talk about your family, your studies, your job, your favorite food, your city, or what you want to do tomorrow. Do not worry about making perfect sentences. Your first goal is to keep speaking. If you forget a word, use an easier word. If you make a grammar mistake, continue. If you need a few seconds to think, say, "Let me think," and keep going. At first, 1 minute may feel very long. You may run out of ideas after 20 seconds. That is normal. But do the same exercise again tomorrow. Then again the next day. Slowly, your 1 minute becomes easier. Then try 2 minutes. This is how confidence grows, not by waiting for confidence, but by doing the thing that once made you uncomfortable. You can make speaking part of your normal day. In the morning, say 3 sentences about your plans. Today I need to study. I have some work to finish. I want to practice English for 20 minutes. In the afternoon, describe what you are doing. I am making tea. I am checking my phone. I am taking a short break. At night, talk about your day. Today was busy. I finished my work. I spoke to my friend. I learned 5 new English sentences. These small moments may look simple, but they are very powerful. You are teaching your brain to find English words quickly. You are also making English part of your real life instead of something that exists only inside a book. When English becomes connected to your daily activities, it becomes easier to remember and easier to use. Another powerful method is to ask yourself questions and answer them aloud. Imagine someone is interviewing you. Ask, "What is your favorite food?" Then answer, "My favorite food is rice because." Ask, "Why are you learning English?" Then explain your reason. "I am learning English because I want to speak confidently. I also want better opportunities." Ask, what did you do yesterday? What are your plans for the weekend? What kind of movies do you like? What is one thing you want to improve? These questions prepare you for real conversations because people often ask simple questions like these. If you practice the answers alone, you will feel more prepared when someone asks you in real life. You will not have to create every answer for the first time. You should also record your voice sometimes. This may feel uncomfortable at first, but it can teach you a lot. Take your phone and record yourself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes. Then listen to the recording. Do not listen only to criticize yourself. Listen like a teacher. Ask, was I clear? Did I pause too much? Did I repeat the same word many times? Was there one sentence I could say better? Choose only one thing to improve. You do not need to fix everything at once. Maybe today you focus on speaking a little more slowly. Tomorrow you work on one difficult word. Another day you try to use fewer pauses. Small corrections are easier to manage and easier to remember. Here is where many learners become surprised. On day 1, speaking alone may feel strange. On day 5, it becomes a little easier. On day 10, you start finding sentences more quickly. After a few weeks, you may listen to an old recording and realize, I speak better now. That moment is powerful because sometimes improvement is difficult to notice while it is happening. You practice every day, and nothing seems different, but your brain is learning. Your mouth is becoming faster. Your sentences are becoming smoother. Then suddenly, you notice the difference. This is why consistency is more important than one perfect day of study. You can also practice by retelling simple things. Watch a short English video, then close it and explain what happened using your own words. Read a simple story, then tell the story aloud. After a conversation, try to describe what you talked about. You do not need to remember every detail. The goal is to take information and express it with your own English. This trains you to create sentences instead of only repeating them. It is one of the best ways to move from learning English to actually using English. And remember this, confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes because of speaking. Many people say, I will speak when I feel confident. But if you never speak, how will confidence arrive? Speak while you are nervous. Speak while your English is simple. Speak while you are still making mistakes. Every time you finish a small speaking practice, you prove something to yourself. I can do this. That proof becomes confidence. So give your voice a little English every day. 1 minute is better than 0 minutes. 5 simple sentences are better than waiting for perfect sentences. Speak in the morning. Speak while walking. Speak in front of a mirror. Record yourself. Ask yourself questions. Tell yourself stories. The more you use English, the less foreign it will feel. And when you make mistakes, and you will, do not let them stop you. Mistakes are not the end of your progress. They are information showing you exactly what you need to improve next. Chapter 6. Use your mistakes as teachers. There is one thing every English learner must accept if they want to improve. You will make mistakes. You will choose the wrong word. You will forget a grammar rule. You will pronounce something incorrectly. You may start a sentence and then stop because you do not know how to finish it. This is normal. The problem is not making mistakes. The real problem is becoming so afraid of mistakes that you stop speaking. Many learners know enough English to communicate, but fear keeps them silent. They think, what if people laugh at me? What if my grammar is wrong? What if I pronounce this word badly? These thoughts create pressure, and pressure makes speaking even more difficult. You must change the way you see mistakes. A mistake is not proof that you are bad at English. A mistake is information. It tells you what you need to practice next. If you use mistakes correctly, they can become some of your best teachers. Imagine that you say, "Yesterday I go to the market." Later, someone explains that the better sentence is, "Yesterday I went to the market." You made a mistake, but something useful happened. Now you know that go changes to went when you talk about the past. If you practice the correct sentence several times, that mistake has helped you learn. Say, "Yesterday I went to the market." Then create another example. "Yesterday I went to school." "Last week I went to my friend's house." "I went there with my brother." Now, one mistake has given you 4 useful sentences. This is how strong learners think. They do not say, "I made a mistake, so I should stop speaking." They say, "Good, now I know what to improve." Every corrected mistake can become a new piece of stronger English. But you must also be careful not to correct yourself every 2 seconds while speaking. If you stop after every small mistake, your speaking will become slow and stressful. Imagine saying, "Yesterday I went to market." No, the market. You will lose your idea because you are trying to be perfect. When you are practicing fluency, let yourself finish the thought first. Keep speaking. Afterward, you can look at the sentence and improve it. There is a time to speak, and there is a time to correct. During speaking practice, focus on communication. During review, focus on accuracy. This balance is very important. You need both confidence and correction, but you do not need both at exactly the same second. A simple mistake notebook can help you improve faster. Divide a page into 3 parts. First, write your sentence. Second, write the better sentence. Third, create one new example. Suppose you say, "She go to school every day." Write it down. Then write, "She goes to school every day." After that, create another example. "My brother goes to work every morning." Now you are not simply looking at the mistake. You are turning it into practice. If you make the same mistake again tomorrow, do not become angry. Review it again. Some mistakes disappear quickly. Others need more repetition. That is normal. Your brain learns through repeated exposure. Pay special attention to mistakes that happen again and again. Maybe you often forget S with he and she. Maybe you confuse was and were. Maybe you forget past tense verbs. Maybe you use the wrong preposition. Do not try to repair 20 different problems at once. Choose one repeated mistake and work on it for a few days. If your problem is he go instead of he goes, create 10 short sentences. He goes home. He goes to work. He goes to school. He goes there every day. Speak them aloud. After enough repetition, the correct form will start feeling more natural. This is much more effective than simply reading a grammar explanation once and hoping you remember it forever. Pronunciation mistakes should be treated in the same friendly way. Maybe there is a word you always find difficult. Do not avoid that word. Listen to it carefully. Break it into small parts. Repeat it slowly. Then say it inside a short sentence. Suppose comfortable is difficult for you. Listen first. Repeat it slowly. Then say, "This chair is comfortable. I feel comfortable here." Repeat the full sentence several times. Your mouth needs practice just like your brain. Some sounds may feel unusual because they do not exist in your first language. That does not mean you cannot learn them. It only means your mouth needs more training. Here is a powerful truth. The person who speaks imperfect English every day can improve much faster than the person who waits for perfect English before speaking. Think about that carefully. If you wait until you know every grammar rule, every word, and every pronunciation, you may wait forever. English is too large to finish before you start using it. You learn by using it. You speak, you notice a problem, you improve it, and then you speak again. That cycle continues. This is how real progress happens. Do not compare your English with someone who has practiced for 5 or 10 years. Compare yourself with yourself. Can you speak a little longer than you could 1 month ago? Can you understand more? Can you use sentences faster? Do you feel less afraid? These are better signs of progress. Someone else's level does not tell you anything about your own journey. You only need to keep moving forward. You can even create a simple weekly correction habit. At the end of the week, choose 5 mistakes you made. Review the correct forms. Say each correct sentence 5 times. Then use each one in a new sentence. This turns mistakes into a learning plan. Instead of wondering what you should study next, your own speaking tells you exactly what needs attention. And remember, making a mistake while speaking English means you were brave enough to use English. That is already progress. Silence gives you no feedback. Speaking gives you information. Information gives you improvement. So speak, make mistakes, correct the important ones, and continue. Do not let one wrong sentence destroy your confidence. Use it. Learn from it. Then try again. You now have something very powerful. You know how to listen, repeat, build sentences, think in English, speak regularly, and learn from your mistakes. The next step is to put all of these pieces together into one simple daily system. When you have a routine that you can actually follow, English stops feeling confusing. It becomes a clear process you can repeat every day. Chapter 7. Build your listen, practice, learn routine. Now you have learned the most important parts of this journey. You know that listening trains your ears, repeating trains your mouth, complete sentences teach you useful patterns, thinking in English helps you reduce translation, speaking every day builds confidence, mistakes show you what to improve. But there is still one final question. How do you put all of these things together? You may understand every lesson, but if you do not have a simple routine, you can easily become confused again. One day you watch a grammar lesson. The next day you memorize 50 words. Then you download another app. After that, you try a new method. You keep changing your plan, but you never give one method enough time to work. This is why your final step is so important. You need a simple system that you can repeat every day. Not a difficult system, not a perfect system, just one that you can actually follow. Your routine can be built around 3 simple words: listen, practice, and learn. Start with listening. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes of easy English every day. Choose something you can mostly understand. It can be a simple conversation, a short story, a beginner podcast, or a lesson like this one. Listen once without stopping. Do not try to catch every word. Just understand the main idea. Ask yourself, what are they talking about? Then listen again. This time, notice useful words and sentences. Maybe you hear, "I'm not sure." Maybe you hear, "What do you think?" Maybe you hear, "I need some time." These are the kinds of sentences you want. You do not need 20 new expressions every day. 3 or 5 useful sentences are enough. The goal is not to collect more English than your brain can handle. The goal is to take a small amount of English and learn it well. After listening, move to repetition. Take the sentences you noticed and say them aloud. Do not only read them with your eyes. Your voice must be part of your practice. Listen to one sentence, pause and repeat it. Then repeat it again. Try to copy the rhythm. Try to copy the pronunciation. If the sentence feels difficult, slow it down. Break it into small parts. Then put the parts together. Suppose you hear, "I'm looking forward to it." You can practice "I'm looking forward," then "to it," and finally say the complete sentence. Repeat it until your mouth feels more comfortable. Remember, your goal is not to sound perfect. Your goal is to make useful English easier to say. Next comes learning. Look at the sentence and ask yourself, what pattern can I use here? Maybe the sentence is, I need to finish this. Now create your own sentences. I need to study. I need to call my friend. I need to buy some food. I need to practice English. This is where one sentence becomes many. You are not only copying someone else's English, you are learning how to create your own. This is one of the most important changes you can make. A beginner often memorizes. A growing speaker learns how to build. When you can take one pattern and use it in 5 new ways, your English becomes much more flexible. Then spend a few minutes thinking in English. You do not need to sit at a desk for this part. You can do it while walking, making tea, cleaning your room, or waiting for something. Look around and describe what you see. The room is quiet. My phone is charging. I need to leave soon. Think about your plans. Tonight I will watch a movie. Tomorrow I need to wake up early. Think about how you feel. I am tired, but I feel good. Keep your thoughts simple. Do not stop because you cannot think of an advanced word. Use the English you already know. Remember, simple English used quickly is better than difficult English that never comes out. Now it is time to speak. Give yourself 1 or 2 minutes. Use some of the sentences you learned today. Talk about your day, your plans, your work, your family, or any simple topic. You can even use the same topic from your listening practice. If you listen to a story about travel, speak about a place you would like to visit. If you listen to a conversation about work, talk about your own work or studies. This connection helps your brain use new English immediately. You are telling your brain, this is not only information, I need this language for communication. If possible, record yourself once or twice a week. You do not need to record every day. Listen to your older recordings and compare them with your newer ones. You may notice that you pause less. You may speak for longer. Your pronunciation may sound clearer. Maybe you are using more complete sentences. This is important because progress can be difficult to feel from day to day. When you compare yourself over several weeks, you can see the difference more clearly. That gives you motivation to continue. Your complete routine can be very simple. Listen for 10 minutes. Repeat useful sentences for 5 minutes. Create your own examples for 5 minutes. Think in English for 5 minutes. Speak for 5 minutes. That is about 30 minutes. But if 30 minutes is too much for you, do 15. If 15 is too much, do 10. The exact number of minutes is not the most important thing. Consistency is more important. 10 minutes every day can be more powerful than 2 hours once every 2 weeks. Your brain learns through regular contact. And this is where many learners need to hear an important message. Stop looking for the perfect method every week. There will always be another video promising a secret. Another app will tell you that fluency can happen instantly. Another course will say that its method is completely different from everything else. But English still requires the same basic things. You need to hear it. You need to understand it. You need to use it. You need to repeat it. You need time. There is no shame in that. Learning a language is not magic. It is training. Try following one routine for 30 days before you decide whether it works. 30 days of listening. 30 days of repetition. 30 days of simple speaking. Do not ask after 3 days, why am I not fluent yet? Ask better questions. Do I understand more than I did last week? Can I remember more sentences? Am I speaking a little faster? Do I feel less afraid? Can I talk for 2 minutes instead of 1? These small changes are real progress. Fluency is built from many small improvements that finally become something big. Imagine what can happen after 1 month. You may know 100 useful sentences that you have actually practiced. You may understand common phrases faster. You may start thinking simple thoughts in English without translating. You may be able to speak for several minutes about your day. Now imagine continuing for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. This is why you should never underestimate small daily practice. A few sentences today may not look impressive, but thousands of sentences over time can completely change your ability. There will also be days when you do not feel motivated. This is normal. You may feel tired. You may think your English is not improving. On those days, do not try to be perfect. Make your practice smaller. Listen for 5 minutes. Repeat 3 sentences. Speak for 1 minute. Keep the habit alive. Motivation comes and goes, but a routine can continue even when motivation is low. And often, once you begin, you will want to do a little more. Remember why you started. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want a better job. Maybe you want to study abroad. Maybe you want to understand movies, books, or people from different countries. Maybe you simply want to prove to yourself that you can do it. Whatever your reason is, keep it close. English is not only a school subject, it can become a tool that opens new conversations, new information, and new opportunities. So from today, keep the process simple. Listen because your ears need English. Practice because your mouth needs English. Learn because your brain needs English. Speak because confidence grows through action. Make mistakes because mistakes show you where to improve. Then repeat the process tomorrow. You do not need to become fluent today. You only need to become a little better today. And one day, you will notice something beautiful. You will hear an English sentence and understand it immediately. You will answer a question without translating. You will speak for several minutes and realize that you were not thinking about grammar all the time. English will begin to feel less like a difficult subject and more like a language that belongs in your life. That day will not come because of one perfect lesson. It will come because you listened, practiced, learned, and refused to stop. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and continue learning with us. Like this video so more English learners can find it, and write this sentence in the comments. I will listen, practice, and learn every day. Make it your promise. Start small, stay consistent, and keep moving forward. Your English does not need to be perfect today. It only needs your practice today. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning. Your future English is being built by what you do right now.